To my art studio. We have a painting tonight that I dislike. I really don't like it at all. And we're going to do the thing when you don't like a work of art, just paint it out. I've got my palette with my white, and we're just gonna paint it out. It was supposed to be an African mask, and I wanted the entire scene to feel like it was being rained on. So there's an umbrella, some clouds, a bottle of wine, a ladder, and a bottle of India ink as well. And so I just want to paint out. I think I can make it better. This is probably 3 or 4 years ago. It's going to leave a ghost image where there'll be a bit of that drawing coming through. I see I have some people. Welcome to my art studio. My name is Raynor. I'm an artist. Been a professor for now on 27 years. So we are just painting out. How are you all today? How is everybody doing? I hope you're doing well. So we're going to continue just adding white paint, getting rid of that face for sure. Then we'll go back in and draw some more on top of it. That's a brayer from printmaking. You all know what a brayer is? Anybody? Anybody? Brayer? All right. So we are getting rid of a lot of elements that we don't like, which for me is the whole thing. Now once we cover it with white, I'm going to go back in and start drawing on top of it. So as always, I hope you had a good Monday. I hope Monday has treated you well. Our hearts are out, going out to a lot of the folks who were affected by the storms in Texas, as well as the storms in North and South Carolina. We're thinking about those folks. They're heavy on our hearts. I know people in Texas, and I know people in North and South Carolina. I live in North Carolina. So as I'm painting through with this white, you can see it's transparent. You can still see a bit of a ghost image in there, and I'll use that as a reference point for my next piece that will ultimately live on top of this one. I'm going to keep my color scheme. My color scheme was browns and Picasso. Yes, you're from Raleigh. Tatum, nice to meet you, and thank you so much for coming by. Yeah, I have a Picasso, heavy Picasso influence in my work. Who are you influenced by? I don't know if you're an artist, but we can all be influenced in different ways by different things. And I see another OC Batman has joined us. Hi. Nice to meet you, Batman. I feel safer. For everyone, my name is Raynor. I see animes with me. Describe what you were doing. People are enjoying listening to professional. What am I doing? Well, what I'm doing is I am creating an image that on top of an image I didn't like. I don't like this thing that was here before, so I have a palette where I'm taking white paint on this old white brush, and we are just painting. And I've got another hello from Michelle. Nice to see you, Michelle. And so we're trying to paint out what we didn't like so that we can redraw back into it something we do like. And we're doing it all live here on YouTube on a Monday, on a very hot Monday. You're Bob Ross 2.0. A lot of people say that. I have a very soft spoken, soothing voice. And I'm a teacher as well. I've been teaching for a long, long time. Oh, and thank you for the like. A lot of people have said that they feel like my voice is a little bit like ASMR. It's relaxing, soothing. I try to be reassuring anyway, because I have a lot of students and I want to be reassuring to those students. But right now, I am being artist. I am a full-time artist at this stage. I've got a lot of sun coming in my window here, so hopefully that won't distract you. So now I've got all this white, and it leaves a bit of a ghost image you can see behind. So let's clean our brush with our little ratty cup here. I see, let's just you to use black paint. Oh, black paint out? I've done that before. That's a great idea. Black paint is a little bit harder than to paint on top of. And I like the idea of these layers. There's an Italian term called pentimento. It's this idea of ghost, smoky image. Ghost image, right? So now I'm going to get some black. Hang on while I get it. So we have our big tube of black paint, and thank you for the likes. And we are going to squeeze some black paint. I'm trying to do it where you can see it. Oh, there it goes. I'm trying to squeeze that black paint so that we can start to draw with it. I like using a lot of these earthy colors, grays, blacks, browns. Those are all fun to use. I'm going to put the paint up and then grab a second color. So I've got another paint tube that I want to use. This is called burnt umber. And so burnt umber is named for Umbria in Italy. And so it's the color of the earth. And so it's a really rich, dark brown. It's a cooler brown. So I'll show you what it looks like going onto my palette, right? There it goes. I know, don't make poop jokes. All right, that was a little more graphic than I thought it would be. Don't report me. All right. Hi, Uncle. For real? Did you know that Eiffel Tower would be 15? Let's do the... Well, Eva, I did have some idea of that. I've taken a lot of tours to Paris where I've taken students, art students, to see the art. So I had a little bit of knowledge of that. Your knowledge of the Eiffel Tower is riveting. Get it? There's a dad joke there where the Eiffel Tower is made up of rivets. All right. Orchid skies. Well, we love you too. All right, so now we have our browns. We're going to go with some brown. And we're going to start drawing on top of this. And I'm going to slide the camera back just a tiny bit. Give me just a little bit more room to draw. So we're going to set up a construction. A bunch of shapes, right? So we're just going to start drawing some simple shapes. Using the color brown right now. And I don't really know what it's going to turn into yet. It's going to mix with this white because it's still wet. And that's all okay. Okay, I heard some people use their own blood instead of red. I guess you could do that. Seems like a lot of trouble. Instead of just buying some red. But you know, so that's why barns were red, is they would use cow blood to mix with the milky white paint. So right now I'm going to do just a bit of some construction lines and just play. Sometimes art can be so good when you take the pressure off of it. Do you have things in your life like that? Where if you just, sometimes you put so much pressure on yourself, and it becomes a lot. So right now I'm just going to do some simple angles, lines, movements. Not really sure what it's going to be yet. When you start, do you have already an idea, or does it come up later? Sometimes I start with a very specific thing that I want to paint. Sometimes, like this, I'm going to just improvise and then hide a Cooper and then see what happens. I have a general idea of where it could go. But right now, I just want to make lines, just want to draw a bit. Now I can show you one from earlier today. What are you making? I am making, so this is one from earlier today. I don't know if you can see it, and thank you for the likes. So this is a similar thing that I was working on. I'm interested in this idea of dark academia. Because number one, I've worked a long time in academia. 28 years is a long time to teach. So I'm going to start with what I call some construction lines. Just some curves, some ellipses. I'm doing it all over that white paint. And I'm still seeing a bit the ghost of the image underneath. That's so cool. Thank you so much. You don't know how much those things mean when someone gives you kudos about your work. And also thank you all for the likes. My goal is to, so I didn't say this earlier, but I have a big following over on TikTok. I'm almost up to, thank you for subscribing, I'm almost up to 40,000 subscribers. And I went viral over on TikTok, and I'll show you why, is I have the world's largest paintbrush. Look at this. You see this paintbrush? It goes on forever. It's huge. Right? So it hit the ceiling just then, so I can't take it all the way up. But you see this big paintbrush. It got me a lot of folks subscribing and liking. I got into the millions over there on TikTok. And so I'd like to create, I love this idea of creating a community. A community of people who enjoy looking at art and being creative. Yeah. I see some people are responding to that paintbrush, I think. So the brush I'm using right now, not the big giant brush, but this little teeny tiny brush, is set up to, just got paint on my shirt. Oops, it's all right. I'm an artist. I should have paint on my clothes. I like to draw with these brushes. So right now I'm not doing anything recognizable, just shapes. And then I'll start to find some things in there. But it has a lot of geometry that you're probably starting to see a little bit of that. And I'm trying to create some layers. I'm really interested in, oh, bye Cooper. Take care and thank you for coming by. I'm glad you subscribed. So yeah, we're making shapes. We're finding an architecture to this piece. It probably won't look like it did when we first started if you were with me from the very beginning. So I hope everybody's having a good day. Oh, you're allowed to stay. Good job, Cooper. All right, now I'm going to go in with some black. And I'm going to start to try to find some more recognizable shapes. Let's see what we come up with. Yeah, I got 5 likes, y'all. Me. Little old me. So we're going to do some smaller shapes. I'm going to start drawing. So I love to draw things that are in my studio. I'm glad you can stay. I like to draw things in art studios, like lights. Lights on stands. Like that. That's cool. And then maybe there's an easel, right? Hi, MTV Gaming. What am I doing? I am creating a construction, is what I call these, where I create these geometric shapes with paint. Just to see if I can make it into something that looks like something eventually. And I'm so glad you're here to draw with me. I consider this more drawing. Well, it's a little bit drawing and painting, I guess, at the same time. Maybe I make something that looks like a bust. Portrait head. Maybe there's one of those here. Maybe it's a mask. And maybe it's sitting on a stand. A sculpture stand, which is what or am I a famous artist? Great question. So, he is, I read his biography. Well, that's pretty sweet. I've had over 60 national and international exhibitions. Toxic Man, what is that? It is a construction that I'm trying to generate that will hopefully start to look like something soon. I've had exhibitions around the world of my work. I've been very blessed and lucky to have that. And I love sharing my art with other people. I'm going with some smaller shapes than I'm just trying to start to find more constructive elements and try to keep it in this box. I could take up the whole piece of paper, right? Do you teach this university, right? Yes, I have been a university professor for almost 28 years. So the things I would primarily teach are drawing, painting, and I teach a course on a drawing course in Italy as well. I also teach courses on creativity, how to be creative, how to be more creative, no matter if you're an artist or whatever you do. So that white layer that I put on at the very beginning, if you were with me, has started to dry. And so these black lines are starting to show up a little bit better. And I'm starting to like what is happening here. I try to draw very gesturally. Impressive, thank you so much. And what I mean by gesturally is I'm drawing with my arm. Not always, oh, and thank you for subscribing. Not always trying to, a lot of people draw with just their knuckles or their wrists. I'm trying to draw with my arm. So lots of angles. And try to get some curves in here as well. Maybe some organic lines are starting to happen. They're coming to get me. You can hear the sirens. Just kidding. So we're starting to get a lot of compositional elements going on in here, a lot of angles. And I'm trying to tie it all together. And then we'll start to give it some contrast. And then we'll see what it turns into. So I haven't done that many lives on YouTube. And so my question for you all, maybe you've done these, or maybe you've watched other ones of these before. Thank you, Brayden. Is how long are typical YouTube lives? Does anybody know? I believe for most people it is just lines and shapes. I believe you see the picture. I could see a structure starting to happen here. But most people, when they go live, how long do they stay on? I usually do 30 to 45 minutes for me. But I'm doing something, I'm making something, and I think it's fun. I think it's actually very enjoyable to watch someone paint. And hello back. I think it's fun to watch people make art. So as a person who's taught for many, many years, it was always fun just to sit in the studio and watch the students as they paint and as they draw. All right, this has kind of a street art vibe going on a little bit, doesn't it? Okay, now, thinking about switching to a different color. In the 9 minutes that I have left with us today, let's go back to the brown. We're going to lighten up the brown a little bit. Get a lighter brown, and that'll give us some contrast. And kind of neutral color. So we start to fill in some areas. Very loosely. Again, I don't know where this is fully going yet. But I'm excited to see. Sometimes some of the best art is when you don't have a preconceived notion. When you just come in, looking for the hearts. You just come in and start painting and see what develops in you. You never know what may show up. This is a very improvisational, is the word. Oh, it's Maddie. Maddie said hello. Hello to Maddie. So glad you're here in my studio. My name's Raynor, for everyone who has just joined us. Raynor Shine is the way you can remember it. Everybody calls me Raynor. That's my last name. Sometimes my students will call me Ray, which is great. I'm happy to be all those things. I like for my studio to be a welcoming place. What is that sound on in the background? Oh, it's my air conditioner. It's very hot. I'm sweaty. I'm sorry it's annoying. But we've got to stay cool. I'm in a, so I have a 20-foot art studio that's out behind my house that I helped to build. And I can show you a little bit if you want to see. Let me turn it. It's very messy right now. As you can see, I have a work desk. Look at all that mess over there. And then you can see, I'll turn it all the way around. So you can see over here is that's where I keep all my paints. Right? Look at all that. And I have this big bank of windows up there. You're getting an impromptu studio tour for me. And I have this very large ink drawing that I did that was a really fun and cool piece to do. I try to put colored glass up there at the top so that you can see. I like the way the light comes through and it colors. And so it has almost like a stained glass effect. And then as we turn on this way, you can see I have a little window over there and a big stack of paintings that I have. And then you're going to get to see my little air conditioner unit that's really loud. Hello Fortune. And then there's my bookcase. And then you can see, I'll come back around, finish the tour, right? So you can see my giant paintbrush there that we talked about earlier. This is how I got famous on TikTok. I have my 40,000 followers over there. And you're also seeing a painting here that I have started. This is my typical style. Is a bunch of objects arranged in a space on a tabletop, and it makes a complex composition. All of those objects are important to me, and they all have symbolic meanings that I don't want to get all into that now. But all the way back to our little piece that we were working on, that we were seeing what would happen. So you got a studio tour. I'm so glad you got to see it. So now I'm going to get a new color. I want to bring in some blue. So let me grab my blue paint. Thank you for the hearts. Love, love, love. All right, so I see, Professor, you should put the brush on the background so people will see it on your stream. I should. How do you mean? Like just keep it in the background? Is that what you mean? We've got our blue paint. You can't see the blob. There it goes, there it goes. Needs more fiber. Yeah, the big paintbrush has become my symbol. A couple years ago, NBC News did a story about my paintbrush and myself. And it was really fun to have them into one of my classes, is where they came. So I've got some blue. I'm just going to bring some blue in here. Start filling in some spots, and then I'll redraw. I'll fill this with the black later, or red maybe, I don't know. Today we're just having fun. I've made a lot of art today, and I get to the point where I get tired out after a full day in the studio. If they see the extraordinary burst, need more comments, I guess. Yeah, you're probably right. I could stare at this piece for quite some time. Well, thank you. What I was saying is that when I spend a full day in the art studio like I have today, you get mentally out of it. You get tired. And then I like to make pieces like this that have very little pressure on them. I just finished a big commission for a client down in Charlotte, and that was kind of an intensive piece. I'll show you another one. Let me grab it. I just posted about this piece this morning. What kind of oil paint? I'm using acrylic paint. This is a copy of a John Singer Sargent. I'm going to turn it around so you'll be able to see it. This painting I'm very proud of. It's glary, sorry, but this is a flamenco dancer. And I did this just for myself because this is an artist named John Singer Sargent, and I wanted to learn more about his technique and style by painting it. So I had a really good time creating that piece. This is another piece. I think I showed this one earlier. I made this one this morning. I'm not happy with that one fully yet, but it'll get there. It'll get there. So we try to be patient. So at the end of the day, I like to make pieces like this, which just have considerably less pressure on them. Move it just a tiny bit closer, so that way you can see what I'm doing. So I'm mostly just coloring, moving this blue around a little bit, trying to create some interest. And then I'll go in and draw back into this some more. Like there's a somewhat of a pattern that's starting to emerge and develop in there. I'm also getting a lot of sunshine coming in. It's making it a little bit open. So I'm working around that a little bit as well. I'm leaving this weekend. I'm going up to New York City, to see an art show by John Singer Sargent. So that's one of the reasons why I did that copy that I did. There we go. All right, folks, so we are hitting the 30-minute mark, and so that's our time to exit. And so I'm going to thank all of you for coming by my studio. Love the fact that you were here. I hope you enjoyed watching me paint. I hope you enjoyed our little studio tour that we took as well. So again, thank you all for coming. Thank you for the ones who subscribed and liked. And we will see you soon. I hope to do another, today's Monday. We hope to do another one of these maybe on Wednesday. So maybe you'll come back by my art studio. You are always welcome here. So take care and have a good rest of your evening. And we'll talk soon. We'll clean the brush. Let you have one more look at it before we go away. All right, goodbye, everybody.